Greetings, everyone. Hello. And how are you today? I am riding solo today. Welcome to Building Power. I am your host, Sister Zakiya Sankara Jabbar. And today, I kind of wanted to talk about school. Most schools here in the United States, I believe, are back in session full time now. I know my children's school went back this past Monday, and I saw lots of friends and family a couple weeks before that on social media posting their children's first day pictures. So it's been at least good to see, some happy faces and parents who are happy and children who are happy. I guess I'll start by, sharing my own parent experience since schools have started here where we live in the DC region. Schools started most of the area around here in the DC region this past Monday. So today is the second or third day of school for my children. I have an elementary school age child, and I have a high schooler. So it's been a really interesting experience listening to my high schooler talk about, his new school, and listening to my elementary schooler share about, her school experience, because for her, her kindergarten year was actually disrupted due to COVID. She is, getting to learn or getting to know, school again, so to speak, because we homeschooled her the last 22 months, because we actually did not stop during the summers. And I'll share, I guess I'll share a little bit about that experience as well. But I want to invite you all to first like the video, share out with other folks, because I want to have a conversation with you all. So I invite each and every one of you to share your experience, in the comment section here. If you have children, grandchildren, what has school been like thus far? We know that there's been a lot of political upheaval that we've been seeing on the news. The news have been particularly showing white parents showing up at school board meetings, making demands around, certain things. So really want to invite you all today into conversation with me so that I can see, number one, where are you from in the country? So if you want to drop in the chat, your city and state. And then also share your back to school story. What has it been like for you, your family, your children, your grandchildren, or any children that you are connected with, or any families you're connected with that have school age children? Even if you're homeschooling, we would love, to hear about that as well, because I'm going to share my homeschooling experience. So as I mentioned, for my daughter, learning online or virtual learning just did not work for her. As I mentioned, COVID disrupted her kindergarten year. She was in the second half of her kindergarten year when COVID disrupted and shut down schools across the country. And so obviously, schools, our school district was able to get online pretty quickly. So that was a good thing. So she was able to get online, and it was interesting because at first, it was okay, because she was just happy to see her friends, because everything just stopped all of a sudden for kids, right? No more school, no more seeing their friends, all of that. So it was really a difficult time, for children. And she would see her friends and it would be all cool. And maybe within about 15 minutes, she was done, like sitting in front of that computer, right? And we noticed that, like with the other kids, like the little box of like where the kid is supposed to be on the Zoom meeting. Like they were empty. You could see parents in the background trying to corral the children, like, sit down, you're supposed to be doing school. And it wasn't working. And I would say maybe after about a week or two, the kindergarten teacher was down to maybe 2 or 3 kids that were still showing up on Zoom. Because like us, as parents, we couldn't like really make her sit there for an hour or two learning. And so my husband and I was like, we've got to homeschool. This is not going to work for little kids, and so we put out calls, to people in our network, to try to find like a private tutor. We continued with Kumon, even though, that also ended up going online. And we did that on our own instead of her like joining the online Kumon. We just continued to pick up her work and we did it with her. So that was fine. But we thankfully did find a very capable, wonderful private tutor based here in Maryland. And it was amazing. She was very, very patient. She, obviously, understood and completely, had the patience you would expect, a teacher who has taught young children to have. And there's really more than I can say for some of the experience that I've had in the past with some teachers who are teaching, younger children. And Nasada really flourished. She really did well. And because for me, one of the things I was most concerned about is that, for my daughter, these are her formative years, right? Like you have to be able to do what my great grandmother would say, reading, writing, and arithmetic, right? Like that's the basis, that's the foundation, is being able to learn how to read, to know how to read. This private tutor did phonics, which that's how I learned how to read. So it was so easy for me to be able to help her, when we would read together. My husband shepherded most of the homeschooling though for my daughter. So she did a lot of outside, in nature kind of learning. She still played with children, who we would take her to the park. And it was a good experience, but it was rough, because we both still work. Thankfully, we both work from home. So we were able to manage. But it was a lot, and can be unsustainable. So she's now, back in school. Obviously, my son, they're both, back in school. And so for them, they've reported good experiences thus far. Nothing for us to be concerned about. We've been in communication with the educators, the teachers, and everything. And so this first couple of days, has been good, at least, for our family. But it's been interesting seeing some of the stuff that's been on the news, with parents, showing up to school board meetings, making demands, particularly around mask, and children wearing masks all day at school. So we have a video, I believe it's out of Tennessee, that we want to kind of show you all, and then I'll unpack some of that. But before that, thank you all for sharing in the comments where you're from. I want to hear your school experience. I want to hear, what has been your experience with your children, if schools have started back in your community. I see that we have folks in here from Dallas, Texas. There is Brother Rashid from Eugene, Oregon. Is school back in out there, brother? There is Erica from Mount Laurel, New Jersey. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Really glad that you all are here. There's Sherry from Lawrenceville, Georgia. Cool. And then someone said we live in Delaware, and school starts September 8th. Okay, that's cool. Cool. Um, hey there, sister from Sacramento. Is school back in out there, or is they're waiting to after Labor Day? So yeah, in the comments, share your school experience, and then in the meantime, we're going to tee up this video to show it, and then we will unpack it. This is a school board meeting in Tennessee where you can see mostly white parents um, making a fuss. We can play the video now. I'm not sure if people are able to hear it because I can't hear it. We might have to start it over. You have to, when we share the video, I think you have to make sure that you're sharing audio as well when you click on it. Let's see if we can. All right, while we try to figure out the audio situation with the video, I'm going to go back to the comments here. Oh, cool. Okay, so schools start next week. And okay, all right, next week in Oregon. Definitely, yeah, schools definitely have started in Georgia. I have family in the Atlanta area, and I saw their back to school pictures. Do you have children in school, Miss Lucas Hall? Have you heard from other families? How is school going there? Have schools had to be closed or shuttered due to, the virus and all the variants and all that? Just interested in seeing how things are going in other parts of the country. Hey there, San Francisco Bay Area. How's school out there? School back in, Mark? Last school board meeting was disrupted by parents upset with masks, both inside and outside the building. Wow. Thanks for sharing that. My fourth grader private school starts on the 8th outside of Philly. Okay, school. Yeah, that's right. Schools actually never stopped here for private schools. Yep. They went straight remote. And then, yeah. Schools are back, but students are being sent back home because of COVID. Yesterday, a child said that 200 kids were sent home. Wow. Okay. Wow. Yeah, that's interesting. I guess that's something that that's happening all over the country because of the, COVID is still very much a part of everybody's life. Your private tutor, same struggles, people fighting the mask, even with this active COVID virus and variants. So that's happening in Georgia. Yeah, we're going to try to get that video back up and see if we can get the audio going. I'm in Inglewood, California. My daughter's in 4th grade. It was tough in the beginning, once online, yeah. And she's in school in Hawthorne, and they've just started back this week in person, mask required. Yeah, how's she liking it for the first week, Kenya? Thanks for sharing. How's she liking school? Is she happy? My kids were happy. They were so happy, like to be back around their friends and, be back around, kids. These schools don't have it figured out. We are homeschooling our 2 youngest, but our son is in a public high school. I hear you. Thankfully, I think, where we live, our county has done a good job, trying to figure things out, and so far so good. But who knows, right? Who knows? It's interesting that after this long amount of time, the schools still don't have it figured out. That's really interesting, and I'm sorry to hear that. The 2021 school year offered remote, hybrid, and in person. Remote is only being offered as an exception this year. I hear that. So that's at the private school. Okay. My granddaughter is in 7th grade, and there have been text messages almost daily about positive cases, but the kids have not been sent home. The text messages are saying that there are there was no contact, so that they are still in class. Okay, looks like we got the video here. I'll come back to your comments. Still, please keep telling me about your experience. Keep commenting. We're going to try to show this video and then unpack that. Let's see if it's ready. Are y'all able to hear it? Because I'm not able to hear it. Yeah, I'm still not able to hear it. Yeah, let me go back to the comments here. I want to go back up. Okay, yeah, thanks for sharing that, Donicia. And says, my kids are in remote learning due to all kids in this house under 12. I'm in Minnesota. Some schools and parents are scared because some are fighting the mask mandates. I hear you. Yeah. So far, so good. You know, she's happy. Yeah, my kids are happy. When they were in partial in person last semester, she was afraid to go back, but this time she's happy. That's what matters, man. That's what matters. Making sure those kids are happy. Yeah, we're still having a problem with the sound. We're trying to get that taken care of, and we really appreciate you all's patience with that. The mask and vaccine mandates are very controversial. I agree. I know some colleagues who refuse to be vaccinated and plan to resign. Yeah. Although I don't think they should resign. They should probably just get fired. It's better for them in terms of unemployment. All right, let's see if we can hear the video. We have to, yeah, when you share the video, I think you have to click the button that says share sound. It's really weird on StreamYard. They don't make it apparent. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to just tell y'all about this video. It's unfortunate. So I can unpack this video. I really wanted you all to hear and see it for yourselves. But anyway, that's in Williams. So the video has been dropped in the chat if people want to kind of like watch it on their own. I watched this and several other videos. And so number one, I should say, you know, obviously I'm a parent, you know, and I, you know, identify as a Pan-Africanist. And so I'm all about, you know, parents having power when it comes to their children's education, especially in a public school, right? I mean, it's funded by the people, it's funded by the parents. And I should say that I don't think in general, right, not the issue itself. So let me like separate this issue from kind of what you're saying. If you all are not familiar with the Oceansville, Brownsville area of Brooklyn, you all should become familiar with the story of the Black and some Latinx families or Latino families. I have friends who are Latino and they hate the Latinx, so I'm not going to use that. But there's a history of parents who have actually taken over a school board and kind of installed themselves, you know, when it comes to their children's education, right? And I would encourage people to kind of go back and look at that story from 1969 about Black parents who were extremely upset at the level of education that their children was not receiving. You know, their children were not learning how to read, like really honestly, some of the same issues that we still see today, unfortunately, when it comes to achievement and outcomes, particularly for poor Black children. So I say all that to say, you know, I'm not, you know, against parents showing up and showing out at a school board meeting. In fact, I think more Black parents should be more adamant, you know, about that in the learning of their children. However, you know, this particular video is obviously a bunch of white parents, you can see, and they are adamantly opposed to mask mandates in schools. I am not sure why. I can't. So even from these videos, I can't like understand the reason, because the videos are just clips. It's not like sort of the full thing, and it's not um you can't really hear like their reasoning, because I believe this video was like after the school board meeting, and they were kind of like accosting one of the doctors who had come to the school board meeting to be sort of like an expert, commenting on the need, to have the mask in school. And so I can't comment like on, whatever, their reasoning is, but I do think that is interesting that this is something that's so, I guess, how do I say it, that the it's just like such a big issue, and I would love to really try to understand, what is the main grievance around the mask for these parents. I don't get it. To me, it seems such like low hanging fruit. It seems like, okay, you know, masks they absolutely have some impact in trying to mitigate the spread. It does help in some way. I did hear, a little bit in this video when they were talking to the doctor as he was trying to leave, that they were saying masks don't work at all. The masks don't work at all. Well, I think, the N95 masks, they're certainly do work. I mean, hell, they use them in surgery rooms. They have to have some kind of validity. So I do think that they absolutely, work to kind of mitigate the spread of the virus and everything. But there are other reasoning I guess I don't get. I don't understand it. And I think that they're actually wasting a lot of political capital on something that, to me, it doesn't make any sense. It seems like there will be other things they will be interested in fighting about when it comes to schools. But obviously, I'm not in their head. I'm clearly not white. So, and most of these things I've seen across the country have been led by white parents. So yeah, it seems to be mainly an issue for white parents. I haven't seen a whole lot of black parents showing up at the school board meetings about masks. I haven't seen a whole lot of Asian parents, showing up at school board meetings about masks. I haven't seen any Latino. I haven't seen any other kind of parents showing up at school board meetings about masks. So I don't know. Maybe who knows? White people know something we don't know. I don't know. But I wanted to go to Brother Mark's comment. You said the focus now is on the mask and COVID, which adds yet extra layers from the focus being on our children, Black children specifically. That's right. That's right. Yeah, that is exactly right, Mark. And I think that's very unfortunate. I think that it is, though, the job of Black parents to, show up at these school board meetings and change the subject, right? Because there's so many other important things that we can be talking about. It seems like if there was an issue that people wanted to fight about, it seems like we would be wanting to have conversations about, okay, a lot of children have been without some form of adequate learning for the last 18 months plus, right? What are the school district's plans to help get children caught up and where they need to be? It seems like that would be a conversation that all parents could unite around, but it's mask. It's like, okay, if you don't want your children to wear masks, it seems like you keep them home. I don't know. I'm trying not to be too dismissive. And this is a comment from Cheryl. It says, do people not realize that viruses are microscopic? No piece of moist, salivated, filled cloth over your face is going to provide protection from anything. That's interesting. Okay. Do you have a background in healthcare or anything? Said, if anything, masks, especially on young children, serve as a breeding ground for more germs. Interesting. Okay. Wow. I had not heard that perspective, but I appreciate you, giving that perspective. I would love to know if you have a background, as a healthcare worker or microbiologist or anything like that. Let us know in the comments, Cheryl, and thanks for sharing. Kofi says masks are a cult at this point. Interesting. I'm assuming, Kofi, that you're Black. Let me know. I don't know because your comment, you don't have a picture, and your comment is from YouTube. It's masks don't work. Oh, wow. We got some masks don't work people in the comments. N95 is way below the 95% required. It doesn't work. Do you have a background also in healthcare or in cellular or microbiology or anything, Kofi? I'm just wondering, and I'm not saying this to be funny, right? Like, because I invited people to have a conversation. The reason why I'm asking that is because I'm wondering sort of like what you read, what informed that opinion. That's what I'm wondering. What informed your opinion on that for both you and Cheryl? I don't know whether you're Black or white either, but Cheryl and Kofi. Because the way that it's being, obviously shared in the media is that this is mostly white parents. That's why I'm asking if you're Black. But because I haven't talked to any Black people who are against masks. So that's why I'm asking. Let's see what Mark is saying here. It says, my thought is that this is less about the mask and more about white people asserting themselves and attempting to intimidate school leadership. It's about ownership of the public education system. Okay. Some school districts have made it part of the school dress code. Wow. Okay. All right. Let me go back up. Let me see. And B Blaze says they are requiring K95 mask at my child's private school this year as opposed to the regular ones last year. Wow. Okay. And those N95 masks are more expensive, right? I think they are. It says, so this is Cheryl again. It says, what happens when you touch your N95 mask with your bare hands? When kids stuff their mask in their pockets or bags when eating during lunch, the mask get contaminated, which defeats the whole purpose. Okay, I hear that. I know that the schools, at least my children's schools, gave us their protocols and plans, and there's a lot more hand washing happening this time around. A lot more hand washing, and then of course there are the germ, like the germ, what do you call it, hand sanitizer, also for kids and staff at the schools. Let's see what Sherry is saying. For many students, the instruction has been failing them for longer than the pandemic. Hey, no argument there. Exactly. That's exactly right. The pandemic has set those students back even further. Yeah. Let's see here. E-Class says, also don't think you have to have a medical background in order to do research. That's right. There are medical journals that have been published proving the irrelevancy of masks, even in the surgical room. Well, girl, you better share those medical journals with me. Look, I'm all the way ignorant then. Listen, I'm glad y'all are. See, this is why I wanted to have this conversation. This is why I actually wanted to talk to people, right? I mean, yeah, I appreciate that, Klaus. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you, Mark. Let's see what Cheryl is saying. Yes, I work in a hospital setting currently in the healthcare field. And yes, I'm Black and a Philly native. Thank you, sister. I appreciate it. See, this is why, I'm going to say something here. It's probably going to be controversial. But that to me, I also think like that's, the media also serves in creating narratives because it projects, it always shows us one thing. Like I said, I never heard the reason. Like they never showed like the actual parents, the white parents who are at these school board meetings actually making their case about why they didn't want the mask. I never saw that part when you heard me say that at the beginning. Like I don't know their reasons. And I will be the first to tell you that, I haven't read up about, so like to me, I guess to me it wasn't a big enough issue, you know what I mean? But that's why I'm here, and I want to hear from everybody else, and I'm learning. Let's see what the class is saying. Sorry, I should have said school age children. I got some babies. That's right. That's right. Let's see what B Blaze is saying. They have to have a backup mask, and the school will also be keeping supplies. The children are given a presentation on the protocols. I'm sure it's still tough for younger students. Yeah. Yes, those masks are expensive. Those K95, I thought they were more expensive. Becky Brown says, I just kept my child home this year. Education needs to look different anyway. I completely agree. Absolutely. This is a time that education should completely be reimagined and redone. Let's see what Kofi is saying here. The info is from a mass study from the University of Waterloo. Do you mind sharing a link to that if you have it? Thank you, Kofi. N95 masks are hella hot too. That will be tough for babies to navigate. Yeah. Y'all are actually providing me to wow, I need to rethink this. Yeah, because my kids are certainly sitting in schools with masks on. And the good thing is they do have obviously to take the mask off at lunch, and I think also at recess, because recess is still able to be outside and they're able to be apart. Dang, maybe I need to do more research on this whole mask thing before I clown these white parents. My children wear a mask and their oral hygiene is fine. In fact, none of them had cavities at their last dental appointment. What does the oral hygiene have to do with the mask? I'm not following that one there. If you can unpack that, Jay will. Yes, I'm Black. Yeah. Hey, Kofi. Oregon has outside mask mandate. What? Outside mask mandate? What? No, explain that to me, brother. What? Why? Why is there an outside mask mandate? Please explain that to me. What? I'm sorry. Let me go to the next comment. However, I do agree with hand sanitizer, but also use of hand sanitizer too often can destroy the dermis layer of your skin, which provides defense against other bacteria. Oh, you teaching, Cheryl. You teaching. Wow. That dermis layer. I'm going to have to Google that. Becky Brown, I am not an anti-masker, but my breathing pattern has changed a lot. Yeah. I'm not I'm not in the names that these people make up to call people. I will tell you personally, I hate the mask. I hate them. Now, obviously, I wear them when I'm in public because you have to go into like the grocery store. It's not a mask mandate outside here in Maryland, thank God. What the hell? Which is crazy that is outside. But like to go into grocery stores, like to go into anything public, you have to wear them. And you should see me booking it out of there. Like as soon as I leave out of the grocery store, boop, it's down. I hate them. To be honest with you, I really hate them personally. Homeschooling is on the table for next year, though. Okay. Schools should be outside. Oh my God, Tori, I completely agree. I said that last year when they kept the schools closed and just put the kids online. I was like, why aren't we thinking creatively, especially when the weather is still good? Now, if you're in areas where there's harsh winters, that's hard to do school outside. But while the weather is still good, we should still have school outside. I completely agree. Josh says, I lived in Asia before the pandemic and mask wearing was normal, especially on crowded public transportation in crowded areas. Yes, the governor mandated it because the spread 1984 and 2024. So I hear you, Brother Lawrence. So people, if you don't know what he's referring to, he's talking about George Orwell's book, 1984. A lot of people have been talking about that recently. I actually need to read that book again. I haven't read it in years. But that's been coming up a lot. I hear you, brother. I hear what you're saying. They do get mask breaks, sanitation breaks. Yes, too much sanitation is not good. Right, right. Josh says it's as simple as them blocking some amount of respiratory droplets that can carry virus. Yep, yep. Um, in the Planet Fitness facilities around Philly and Upper Darby, nobody, absolutely no one wears masks. Laugh out loud. Well, yeah, I think that would be hard to be working out to wear a mask. In fact, there was somebody um, last year during COVID, like it was, I think it was last summer of 2020, it was on the news. The person died because they were working out, like high intensity workouts with a mask on. And that's never been recommended, I don't think. The person, yeah, yeah, they died. I forget, yeah, they something happened really horrible to their lungs. Jay Will says, in short, there are those who suggest wearing masks is more likely to diminish oral hygiene. Oh, okay. Okay. I see what you're saying there. I hadn't heard that one. Thank you for explaining and appreciate that. Um, I agree with school being outside. Me too. Me too. In fact, I saw that in some school districts, like in North Carolina, I saw a story. There were some school districts in California that I saw a story where you did have like individual educators, principals who got creative and had school outside, but for the most part, it wasn't happening. Yeah, people their creative juices just was not working. But I completely agree with having school outside. Yeah, you could be 6 feet apart and all that good stuff. And I think the kids would like it too. Let's see. Becky Brown says, I live in Michigan, so weather is all over the place. So outdoor learning would have its challenges. You're right. Michigan, you're absolutely right. Especially y'all have really harsh winters. Ohio's the same way. Minnesota, so yeah, some areas of the country, it wouldn't work as well. Completely agree. Better learning take place outside. Yep. People rocking with outside learning. I hope y'all advocating. Look, y'all need to be like them white parents at the school board meeting going off. Like, why is y'all got these kids sitting in here? So maybe that's like the answer to the people who don't want their kids sitting in class, wearing masks all day. Is that the answer? Should these white parents be advocating for outside school? What do y'all think? I'm also like breathing fresh air. Oxygen is healing to the body. That's absolutely right. So why would you not want that, especially for babies? Amen. Y'all listen, y'all giving me something to think about. I was agnostic on this issue, to be honest with you, because I'm just like, but you're right. Like, us as parents, we're not sitting at work, especially if you work from home in mask all day. Shit, I'm up here feeling like a bad parent now because my children are certainly sitting at school with a mask on. What studies support better study outside? Yeah, it's a good question. Maybe the people who recommended it in the comments can post that for you, Kofi. Good question. Good afternoon from Philadelphia. Hi, Maritza. Yeah, we're having a conversation about schools and having a conversation about the politicization, if you will, the outrage around the country. The news has been showing us mostly white parents who are outraged about children being required to wear masks all day at school. But these comments here from Black people, several of them are like, they ain't with it either. So listen, I'm being completely opened up, to an issue that I was really agnostic about. But welcome, Maritza. Would love to hear how, if you have children, school age children, how school is going for you in Philly. And here's Cheryl again, says it is detrimental for adults and children with severe asthma. Okay, now that's a good point in terms of medical issues with asthma. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, people with asthma wearing a mask all day. Wow. I'm assuming schools have procedures for this, especially children who go to school in highly industrial areas. Yeah. Wow. That's a good point. I didn't even think about people with asthma. Damn. B. Blaze, they will be doing as much outside instruction as possible until the change of weather. The windows will be kept slightly even, though they have a HEPA filter system, all desks facing one way. I'm sure that's what you meant. Yeah. And Marissa says it's absolutely a hot mess. Parents are anxious about possible shutdown of COVID if the COVID numbers continue to rise. Yeah, man. Accommodations are being made for children and adults in school buildings that have respiratory issues. Well, that's a blessing. I mean, that's the right thing to do. That is the right thing to do. Oh, I know what you meant. Oops, shut down. I got you. That, yeah, I get it. When typing, typing all fast, it comes in weird like that sometimes. This has been a really good conversation, everybody. I really appreciate all of you sharing your experience, and I appreciate hearing the viewpoints around mask and why these parents are showing up at the school board meetings pretty adamant about not wearing their children not being required to wear masks. I'm hearing some of you actually express something similar. Jay Will says, here at the college where I work, masks are required indoors, including the gym, whether presenting, counseling, in small rooms, we must wear them. Wow. Even in the gym? That's nuts. The gym. Yeah. So in the beginning, they said this was airborne. Now they don't say it. Also, how did they come up with the 6 feet distance since this is airborne? I don't know. Don't get me to line. I have no clue. I am not a scientist. Y'all gonna laugh at me. I remember when I took a chemistry class, I was like, this is not for me. So listen, I don't know. I can't even help you there, Courtney. Jay Will says accommodations are made as necessary. Oh, okay. That's good. That's good. Danicia says, I really think white parents just don't want to be told what to do. Hey, I thought the same thing. They are not used to being told what to do. It's so apparent. And when because I'm looking at like people of color, like the Black, Asian, Latin, Latino, Native, like I think we're all socialized like to, do what we're told or else. Shit. Says it's about control, not public health. I'm hearing a lot more people say that. I am hearing a lot more people say that. Exactly. None of it makes sense. She laughing. That's funny. Somebody says this is the road to serfdom. I don't know what serfdom is, Kofi. You got to unpack that. What is serfdom? They also have intermittent sanitizing throughout the day, but I'm wondering about that. It says they've provided a listing of ingredients is just becoming a lot. Yeah. I'm sorry, but I believe those who voted for these selected officials should be held accountable before these mandates as well. Voters chose these folks. Unpack that. What do you mean by that? I think I know what you mean, but unpack what you mean a little bit more, if you don't mind. The other issue from Marissa says is that this is all consuming for some schools is the shortage of school bus drivers. I saw that in Baltimore the other day. Some schools, some children never even made it to the first day of school because a bunch of bus drivers called in sick. Families can't get their children to schools. Families are being offered stipends, but at the end of the month, this is not a smart move. They need to give families gas cards from the jump, okay? Flint kids just need to be very careful in school buildings because our water is still unsafe and COVID. My goodness, Flint. Thank you for sharing that. Wow. They still haven't given Flint clean water, which is completely unacceptable. It is unacceptable. In the richest country in the world, we running all around the country to give democracy in other countries, but you got cities all across this country that don't have clean water. Unacceptable. Cheryl says, or maybe non-white people are used to conformity. I just said that. I said that. Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, because it's like or else. Like, I mean, we see black people literally get killed every day at the whim by the state, by the police. So yeah, that'll conform some people. Shit. If death is the only other side, think about it. Yes, I agree. These white parents don't want to be told what to do. Yep. Uh, that's what the raid on the Capitol was. White folks not wanting anyone telling them what to do. P.L. Brantley says serf basically means indentured servant to the wealthy. Okay. Intermittent cleaning during school hours is hard when they can't stay fully staffed. Yeah. Damn, it is a nightmare. It says, in all of this, our children are not learning. That's it. That's it. If there's constant disruption, and there's not a continuity, a continuation of the learning, that's a problem. That's a problem. Yes, in the gym, one brother goes hard on the treadmill. Everyone has to get a bottle, disinfectant, and cleaning towel provided. I feel more comfortable in the gym more than before. Unvaccinated, unmasked teacher spreads COVID. Okay, thanks, Josh. And free people don't want to be told what to do. That's one way to look at it. Okay, y'all coming hard today in these comments. Yeah, I believe this is about taking away choice, not really about getting a shot. Mandates can be spread to so many things. One choice is gone. You have to physically fight to get it back. Damn, that's it. Wow. Whew, y'all, this is a lot. Well, I have been with you all almost an hour today. This has been a really good conversation. I appreciate each and every one of you all for joining. But yeah, let's keep the conversation going if you want in the comments. But you all are welcome to join me every week again at noon on Wednesdays. And I will see you all next week. Take care, everybody.